of the Prophet, peace be upon him, he talked about, he was asked by Gabriel, what is Islam? And he gave him the 5 pillars, and he asked him, what is Iman, faith? And he gave him the 6 articles of faith. Belief in God, belief in the angels, belief in the messengers, belief in the books, belief in the last day, and belief in the idea of the qadr, this kind of fate or the measuring out. And then he asked him about the signs of the end of time.
Yeah.
And he said, the one asking does not know more than the one being asked does not know more than the one asking. And so then he said, then tell me its signs. So he gave the signs, and in our tradition there's the lesser signs and then there's the greater signs. So the lesser signs are many in our tradition. I mean, there's really a lot of very specific signs of the latter days, where the Prophet ﷺ said that there would be widespread knowledge. He said inanimate things would talk. He said that you would find men being satisfied with men and women being satisfied with women would be very widespread. He said that people would spend their time with musical instruments on their heads, which nobody understood at the time. He said that people would have on their sides, they would have things that would tell them what their family was doing at home. He said that people would travel between the cloud and back to the earth. Many, many signs. He said that metal would speak. Nataq al-hadid. I mean, it's very interesting science. He said that the skyscrapers would, that there would appear buildings that would reach the mountain tops. He said that the destitute Arabs would compete in vying to build bigger and bigger buildings. He literally said destitute goat herders amongst the Arabs would compete to building higher buildings. He also said that that there would be wars like the Christian tradition, wars and rumors of wars. He said that people would speak and their lie would reach the horizon instantaneously. So many, many signs that he told us about. But then there's these great signs.
Certainly all the smaller ones, one could say, as you've described them,
they're already here
today.
Yeah, they're already here. And I think many Muslims have felt that a lot of Muslims I've heard, they ask me, are these the latter days? You know, they kind of feel that.
They think you know.
They think I don't know. But they do feel like, you know, are these the latter days?
And it's a legitimate question to ask.
Seems like it is a legitimate question. In the end, the Muslims believe, so these major signs, we believe in this antichristic world leader that comes called the Masih ad-Dajjal. We also believe in the second coming of Jesus, who is, we believe is the Messiah that the Jewish community missed, and that he will come at the end of time.
So you believe that Jesus' return as the Messiah is a sign of the end times, or that is the end?
That's we're almost at the very end, once Jesus returns. But there will be a period.
So how does that differentiate from the Christian view?
Well, the Christians see Jesus as part of the Godhead.
Right, sure.
So, there is a sophisticated Catholic and Orthodox tradition of the dual nature. There are some Christians that believe in the monophysite nature. I think a lot of evangelicals seem to believe that Jesus is God. So they believe that he's coming back as God, you know.
Okay. But in the Muslim tradition, but Jesus is coming back.
He's a prophet.
As part of this process. Any other prophets coming back?
No, but some say that Elijah is. Okay. There is a belief in Elijah as an immortal.
I'd like to get another Jewish guy in there.
Elijah is very interesting. Yeah.
How about what I read about I forgot the name, Mahdi?
The Mahdi.
Mahdi.
So there is a belief in the Mahdi.
What is that?
That's a dominant belief.
But
there are scholars who believe that there's no Mahdi except for Jesus, that Jesus is the Mahdi. But the dominant belief is that there is a person who comes back and revives Islam and unites the Muslim community when the world's filled with a lot of injustice. And I mean, the Prophet ﷺ, he said that Islam would last 30 years as a political phenomenon. Only 30 years. And when his grandson Hassan, that was literally at the 30-year point. And then he said it would become monarchies. And then he said the monarchies would be followed by tyrannies. And the monarchies would be followed by tyrannies, and they would be horrible. And then he said then it would go back to the prophetic model, which Muslims understood to be the Mahdi. It's very strong in the Shia tradition. I think some of the Shia saw Barack Hussein, Obama as kind of a sign of because Hussein is held very high in both Sunni and Muslim, Shia, but particularly in the Shia tradition. Yeah.
So he disappointed them in the end.
I think so. Yeah.
So with the Mahdi comes back, unifies the Islam, is that a sign of the end, or is that the end itself?
And it's not the end. No. So the end, eventually, there's an understanding that it will go back to the loss of that prophetic tradition, and then there will be, a terrible war, that happens, a kind of Armageddon type scenario, and then basically the worst people will be left. And then the end comes.
And then what happens? How do we make it better? Does God intervene in some way, or
just the afterlife? There's a closing of the earth.
Oh,
yeah. So the human species comes to an end.
Oh, it starts bad, gets worse, and then is destroyed.
Is destroyed.
So at the end is very different than the Christian and the Jewish tradition, which has God coming back. When Jesus comes back, then he takes over the earth and reforms the earth and makes peace to go out from Jerusalem.
Well, there is a period like that, but it's followed.
It's followed, because in the Christian tradition, that is the end, and therefore that's the new beginning, and that's the permanent, the new heaven and the new earth.
Here.
Yeah,
we don't believe that.
But you said that
no, we move to another dimension.
So you would have that as a kind of a false hope.
Yeah.
If that happens. So other people are thinking it's the ultimate, but you're thinking that.
Well, I think there's a lot of, as there's a certain iteration of Christianity that is looking forward to the end times.
Oh, sure.
We're not.
Sure.
We're not. Like Muslims don't, like in the Jewish tradition, you should avoid bringing near the end times. Yeah. The Muslims have the same idea. You don't want to be a sign of the end of time.
Right.
Yeah, you want to be a zaddik. We call it siddiq. Same word. Yeah. So that's our goal, is to.
Well, I hope I'll go with you.
The end. Yeah. Well, it's very easy. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, and then I'll take your hand.